Today, I want to do a week in review of Candace Owens' show. I want to go over the important points and questions that she raised last week, some of the receipts that she dropped. A lot of important information out there is being discussed, and I don't want it to get lost. And I know sometimes it's hard to digest because she's dropping so many different pieces of evidence and she's asking a lot of good questions, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with. So I'm going to do a week in review and kind of take a look at the important highlights from her videos last week and just go over the important points, the things that I think are important. So on Monday, she started out asking some pretty good questions. In my opinion, the highlight of Monday's show was discussing the 911 calls. And while we don't have recordings of those calls, she's going over that evidence now, and hopefully we'll have them soon. But she was able to describe kind of what the 911 calls were involved. Let's take a listen.
I would like to return to the alleged 911 call that took place from Charlie's security team en route to the hospital. Tip that we received is that the call did in fact take place. Not only that, but it lasted anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. What was heard on this call and what was captured rather on this call is, quote, "We got him. We are taking him to the hospital," followed by a voice saying, "Get out of the way." Also, allegedly, the statement, "Get that off of him."
So that's big news. That was, of course, as I said, we don't have the video, we don't have the audio of that call, but hopefully we will. And I trust that she's doing the work and we'll be able to back this up. But as of now, we haven't heard anything. So we just going to have to take, we have to take her word for it. But I think this was pretty big from Monday. We definitely need to get more information on the 911 calls that were made that day, because surely they were receiving a lot of calls from different people. Where is the audio from the key players in this? That's a big question. Now, she also mentioned in the beginning of her show that the medical examiner had resigned, and this was big news, as it seems like a lot of the key players are resigning. Let's take a listen to this.
Dr. Deidre Amaro has resigned from her position. She's no longer the chief medical examiner of Utah now.
Okay, and so that was pretty big and a little bit shocking, and it didn't really have a good explanation as to why. So kind of important there. Moving on to Tuesday's show, there was a couple things that really stood out, and I picked those out. The number one thing, obviously, is the exclusive footage that she was able to drop.
Well, we have certainly something to show you. And this limp that he has in the footage is completely removed. So let's watch that. Okay.
Okay, so he's obviously running out. There's nothing is in his pants. If he has a rifle, he would be holding it, but it doesn't appear to have anything in his hands. And she does go into the whole thing about the skinny jeans and how was he able to fit this rifle down his pants. Tyler, how could he do that?
Our rooftop guy begins a tactical crawl. It's actually known in the military as a lateral crawl. Let's watch that. There he goes.
It seems like we can't get anything but grainy video footage out of this whole thing. I don't know why everybody's phone is so grainy. In today's cell phone age, you would think that we'd be getting 4K crystal clear footage, and we just can't seem to get that. It's no wonder we haven't caught Bigfoot yet, because, I mean, if this is the best we can do with the cell phones today, then it's no wonder there's no proof of anything, because I can't believe this is almost the exact same footage that we got out of UVU, and it's coming out of her source's, I guess his iPhone that he took this on. So that was him running out, obviously nothing there. And then he goes out, she announces, or she tells us that he goes out, and I'll let her tell it.
Next up, what you are going to see is that it's going to look as though, as he gets into position and completes this lateral crawl, that he thrusts something forward in a way that my brain told me it looked like he was unfolding a gun. There we go. Something forward. And we can watch that again. Something forward.
Okay, so she talks about that for a bit, and then she talks about some other things with the video, but the main thing is that we have the video. Now, she did say that she was unable to release this video. Well, she could have released it, I guess, but she said it might have put one of her sources in danger, was one of the reasons. The other reason she said is because she wanted to see what everyone was going to say and see if the video was released on its own, see if people would be honest about it and release it, and it never happened. So I guess then she found a way to do it without getting her source in trouble. So those were the big, that was the big deal on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, she continues with talking about Charlie's burial, or has he been buried, or is he cremated? She's asking a lot of questions about that. What kind of service did he have? Did he have one service, or did he have two services? Now it appears there was a second Catholic funeral mass that was held for him. Let's take a listen.
Anyway, switching gears, I would like to actually talk primarily today about Charlie's funeral, Charlie's burial.
She talks about that just a little bit more. She gets into asking a lot of questions about this open casket, about Erica and her strange behavior, and she's letting us into the casket, and what's going on with that. And then the question was, Charlie actually converting to Catholicism, or was he not? And the answer seems to be that he wasn't converting, but that nobody probably knows that. Maybe Erica knows. I don't know. She would ever tell us. And those were the kind of the big things for Wednesday's show. Blake did drop on Wednesday's show that there was another angle, that there was video footage of another angle of the exclusive footage that Candace had dropped, showing that Tyler did, in fact, take the gun out of his pants, but nobody's seen that footage. I'll play a little bit of that.
Top video from another angle that captures that moment. That's where I want to pause. And then he says, and once the rifle is pulled out, he obviously is not going to limp. He would obviously not limp, okay? This is new. This is new. I've never heard this. I've never heard anybody make the claim that there's another angle of a video where we can see him pull the rifle out.
No, nobody's seen that. So Blake Neff was the one that dropped that, and if he has some kind of knowledge of that, then he should release it. Then going on to Thursday's show, and that was the last show of the week, as she doesn't do a show on Friday. She started talking about the ER and what was going on when they brought Charlie in, and why did the security team need to change into scrubs? What happened to their clothes? Did the FBI take the clothes? It seems like she has some sources that are pointing to that they did take the clothes, and a lot of questions about that. Now, she goes over the whole Brian Harpole scenario where he says that he jumped in there and took charge of the ER and started operating or doing something on Charlie and instructing the staff as to what to do. All that, she goes into it, and but the biggest thing that she talked about on her show was about the hospital staff and patients being moved into another wing of the hospital, or the patients being evacuated altogether to another hospital. That was the big one of the day. So let's take a listen to that.
I am told that at some point in the 10 o'clock a.m. hour on September 10th, so to be clear, over 2 hours before Charlie was shot, the Timpanogos hospital staff directed everyone who was in the emergency room into a different wing of the hospital. Then after some time, at approximately 11:30 a.m., patients were informed that they would be transferred aboard shuttles to Intermountain Hospital. That's Utah Valley Hospital. And that's what happened. All of the emergency room patients and all of their files were then transferred to Intermountain.
Okay, and so that's definitely the headline of the day. If that happened, then it should be very easy to verify it and to get witnesses to come forward and say, yes, I was transferred from that hospital to another one, or the hospital staff, or somebody can come forward and verify this. This would be very important because this happened before Charlie was taken out. So if that happened, that means there was prior knowledge to this whole thing going down. So it's pretty important. And just on a lighter note, Candace dropped in the same episode, although she did it towards the beginning. She talked about the medical examiner, the person that conducted the autopsy on Charlie. His name is Andrew Guajardo, and he is married to a furry. So let's take a listen to that.
The term furry describes a diverse community of fans, writers, gamers, and role players. Most furries create themselves an animal character called their fursona, with whom they...
Okay, and there it is. Well, so you know what a furry is by now. So anyway, just on a lighter note, there was a lot of information that came out last week, and it really is important to kind of digest all of this. It's so easy to forget. You know, there's so much going on every day, and so many people doing so many things that I think it's important to try to distill it all down and do a recap. I think each week I'll continue to do the daily coverage that I'm doing on our show and try to break it down as cohesively as I can. And then I think these weekly videos might be helpful in order to help us to understand and to go over the information that we just kind of learned the week before, because it's just too easy to forget. There's too much coming at us. So let me know what you think in the comments, what your opinions are on these things. These were the big reveals from last week. I just think it's important that we go over them and remember them. I'd like to know what you think, and I do appreciate you watching the videos, and like and subscribe if you like the videos, and let me know what you think. I appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next video.